And now, our feature presentation.
You are watching a master at work.
What's up, fellas, and welcome to another episode of the Combat Club with Capitán Rafucho and Zenith. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a big Saturday fight night coming at you because this is going to be a very interesting weekend because not only we can talk about for like the preview of the UFC 307 at Sand Lake City, which is on Utah, between Khalil Rountree Jr. as the competitor versus the actual champion, which is Alex Pereira. And of course, they got Pennington versus Pena. But also, in the world of wrestling, they just got the biggest return of the pay-per-view Bad Blood of WWE. Is going to be on Atlanta, Georgia, which they have it at different times. So first, they had the Bad Blood, which is at 6 p.m. Eastern time. And then at the 10 p.m. Eastern time, they had the UFC 307. So right now, we're getting more excited on this Saturday fight night. So how you feel about Science Center? So we're very pumped it out about this Saturday night weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be a fun weekend. Myself, I'm not into WWE that much, but I keep it. My man Captain keeps me in the check on all of the things going on in WWE, and I thank him for that. Shout out to chat. Welcome Daniel. Welcome 323. Thank you so much for being here. That being said, though, we have a lot to get to, so why not we just begin?
Yeah, exactly. So first and foremost, we can talk about like the UFC 307, which is on Salt Lake City, right there in Utah. And they got two amazing fights, which is involved for the main card. First, they got Alex Pereira versus Khalil Rountree Jr. for the title. And of course, they got Pennington versus Pena also for the women's title. So I know it's going to be like a surprisingly enough, but right now it seems that it's going to be like a huge banger. Because first and foremost, they got Alex Pereira versus Khalil Rountree Jr. Now, I got to admit right now, because this is going to be like a really intense, violent fight. And I know because they deserve like the headline main events. And now he's carrying this card because probably it's not going to be like the weakest one. Because that had to put in offer this year. So it should be like a layup because I know that Khalil Rountree is a very great striker and a Muay Thai kickboxer. I know if we destroy the reach, that means that Khalil has to go forward into Pereira's range. We can instantly like launch this pan to the left hook and the quarter. I mean, between him after the fight with John Bakovic has shown out didn't play to fight Pereira, which is very grapple as soon as the band rang. At least Khalil Rountree changed his style. It completely takes down Pereira. So I can really see like another knockout between for Pereira versus Khalil Rountree, but don't be surprised because both fighters, they have an immense, intense violence, not only for the octagon, but also they just got very cardio style because they know about it. I mean, out of other projection, I mean, this is gonna be so really excited to have the both fighters between Pereira, which is from Brazil, because Brazilian fighters, they're born different. They make different. And Khalil Rountree Jr., I mean, it's being like it is so intense that no one see that coming. So right now, let's get it to involve like the main card between Khalil Rountree Jr. versus Alex Pereira. So how you feel about it, like between for Alex Pereira versus Khalil Rountree? Is gonna be like an upset, or is gonna be like a favoritism between for the champion Alex Pereira?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say this. Alex Pereira is one of the best stories in the UFC right now, if not the best. Due to Sean O'Malley just losing his title, so he has everything to lose in this fight, and this could be a trap. I wouldn't sleep on Buckley like a lot of people, or if you really look at him, he is 5-0 in his last 5 fights, coming off of wins against Anthony Stintz, against Dawkins, against Jacoby, and then Robinson, and then you mentioned Bukakis. That being said, though, I mean, like, this guy has amazing multi, one of the best in the UFC, if not the light heavyweight division. And that being said, he is another kickboxer, but there's levels to this shit when it comes to kickboxing. We have a 2-time champion kickboxer in Alex Pereira versus a guy that can kickbox. And that being said, I mean, like, not to sleep on Buckley's hands as well. If Buckley's going to win this fight, it is gonna be by a knockout. If you're gonna put money on this fight, put money by knockout. But that being said, it could be a trap for Poatan, but I think Poatan is riding a streak right now, and he's going to continue to ride this streak. The thing about Buckley is You know, he's one of the better light heavyweights in the division, but there's levels to this shit in this sport, and he's not going to be able to back up Proton because that's what he's going to have to do in order to get aggressive and win this fight. But we never really seen Alex back up that much in his UFC career, fighting some of the best strikers, and if not the second best striker in all of the UFC in Izzy, obviously in Izzy's prime. That being said, though, you have a fighter's chance in Buckley. Could I see Buckley getting a sleeping knockout in the third and putting Proton lights out? Absolutely, I can. But for me, 9 out of 10 times, if you want it in a simulation, I have Proton knocking him out because Buckley doesn't get aggressive. He's not going to back him up. And I think Proton is going to be the one pressuring and pushing the pace, obviously, in his unique style. He's not going to go out there like a madman, like a flyweight, but he's going to push the pace. We just seen it in his last fight out. And this guy is at a level whereas in, you know, he should get this done easy. If this guy is a story like we all say he is, Proton should have no problem on getting this done easy. And for a lot of people that, you know, leaning on like, why does Buckley get this title shot? Like, you just don't understand the sport. Buckley is literally fought his ass off the last 5 times, with 4 of those 5s coming inside the distance with stoppages. That being said, he is deservedly so of this title shot. And he's out there that didn't run his mouth, that kept his mouth shut, that just kept on fighting like a real MMA fighter should. We have someone like Tom Aspinall. I'm not trying to talk down on him, but at the end of the day, yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're the interim heavyweight champion at the moment. But instead of just running your mouth and trying to call out John Jones and all this crap, John Jones is injured at the moment. He's coming back in November to fight Stipe. That fight is already set in place. So instead of just waiting, why don't you just go out there and defend it and make yourself undeniable? Kind of like what Buckley did. He made himself undeniable, and now he has his title shot. Will he probably lose? Absolutely. But anything can happen. And if he gets that fighter's chance with that knockout power, he can put him to sleep. But we'll see what happens. But I'm going to take Proton.
Yeah, I mean, for the fight between Alex Pereira versus Khalil Rountree Jr., that was like a great fight that no one expected to see about it. I mean, Alex Pereira is just like a 2-division champion because they have a brief like at a middleweight title before taking it off at a light heavyweight. And Khalil Rountree, because there's like a fun fact. When he was living in Thailand, he was completely retiring for MMA, but he was still competing at the kickboxing. But even he has the difficulty to believing that he's going to be accomplished with the time since he's fighting the kickboxing match. I mean, it's really hard to believe about for this career, Khalil Rountree. I mean, most of the career success at the UFC, it's things like the destructive striking skill has been developed over the course of this kickboxing career. There's like only a few fighters at the UFC roster on this level on the feet because Rountree may be one of them because the champ was really talented to give his challenger too much credit. I mean, he was regularly never shot a takedown for like in the last 15 UFC fights because he has a different build of the teams. I mean, it's easily understand why Rountree is very confident with analogy on a wide tie striker because he also delivered some impressive knockouts in the octagon. Not as some more than impressive at the 2019. I mean, another kickboxing legend, Gohan Saki. I mean, there's been looking at making reference to the win over.
Exactly, and I'm happy that you brought up Gokhan because Gokhan came in the sport just extremely all hyped up because he was a phenom in kickboxing. He comes into the sport, and what does Rountree do? I'm happy that you brought that up, and the only reason why I brought up Tom Aspinall is because if you look at Rountree's record, he's easily getting stoppages in the first round. He's easily getting these knockouts, and he's not running on Twitter shouting, "Oh, give me Proton, feed me Proton." No, he keeps on fighting. He keeps on earning his spot, and now he made himself undeniable. And now everybody's wondering why does he have a championship shot? It doesn't make any sense. Will recognize his will, and Rountree's will. Will they probably lose on Saturday night? Absolutely. But he was willing enough to keep on fighting, establish a 5-fight win streak, which is hard to do in this division nowadays, let alone any division. And now he has a title shot. So shout out to Rountree, man.
I mean, that's
either talkers
right.
or the fighters, and I'm not saying I'm not saying Tom Aspinall can't fight because that guy's a killer too. There's a reason why he's a interim champion. Continue.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
And after we talked about for like the main card, which is like the main event between Alex Pereira versus Khalil Rountree Jr., let's talk about for like the co-main event, which is Raquel Pennington versus Juliana Pena. Because I'm not very sure. As Kelly Harrison on this card, not giving like the title shot against Raquel Pennington. because Juliana Pena, as known as the Venezuela Bitson, is getting this title shot. Now she does look at a very impressive over like the GOAT women's mixed martial arts fighter, which is Amanda Nunes. But she's always been enacting at the UFC, and Nunes, they get like the revenge of the rematch. Now for the Raquel Pennington, it's kind of active because as you know, it's been expected on champion after winning her previous fight against Bueno Silva. Now, I think the Pennington has taken a look at the advantage. When she trains out of the Colorado, is she able to like handle the attitude in Salt Lake City, which just mean like they're really hackly to have more cardio this game tank for this fight roundabout. So I really think that Pennington used more grappling to get more control time. Like we just see like the title fans wrestling to retain the title in the snoozer of the match. But don't be surprised if Juliana Pena comes out with the opposite, because I would love to see it about it. I mean, have you ever seen like a Juliana Pena cardio, striking, and grappling? I mean, she's got like everything about for the control. I mean, Juliana Pena has been like over the spectatives that no one see that coming. I mean, doing for the record, I mean that some of the social media that say the most hated on the women's division, but she hasn't fought for the 2 years. She has it at 10 fights in a total of 11 years because she's not very hated, because I know she's being like an underdog. I mean, they give like the comment of the campaign because not only she's going to be fighting under the title, but I know she's sounds like a very poorly healed, but I know she's being made it like a great story with this at the top of the kind of striker, because I know he's been improving a lot, because before that she was getting really bad, but I really pretend it's gonna be like a real wrong. But I mean, this gonna like not very crunchy at all. But I know the striking and also for the cardio, I mean, they gotta be executed, and she was very involved. They had to improve. The Don't is surprised at all, because if Juliana Pena has to go for the upset, that would be incredible. But most people, they have the over favoritism about for the Raquel Pennington, because I know that Raquel Pennington over this cardio and the grappling and striking has been above for that level in the women's division.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like if you look at Raquel Pennington, she's the female that shouldn't be holding the title right now. If you really look at it, like she doesn't have the best striking, she doesn't have the best grappling, but the thing that she has that makes her hold that title right now, that why a lot of people is sleeping on her, is number one, she has the heart, man. She's a scrapper. This girl is reached the pinnacle of the sport, believing in herself. And sometimes in the world where people lack self-belief, you look at Raquel Pennington and you just want to give her a high five. I mean, like that is someone that believed in herself, that made it to the pinnacle of the sport, and now is holding the championship she deserves. And that's what sometimes it just takes. It just takes that scrappy mentality. It just takes that heart to come out victory over and over again, and especially in this females division. Rafael is absolutely right. Taylor Harrison should be fighting for the championship next, but Juliana got the title shot because of the fact that she did upset the lioness. Obviously, Amanda Nunes came back and won the second fight, but that being said, Juliana's Pena's record for itself speaks for itself. She fought the best of the best that the division has to offer, and getting that win against the lioness kind of put her on a next level in the limelight. And I believe having Kayla on the court, but fighting a girl that she's basically going to dominate, it kind of sets up Kayla to fight the winner of this match. And I think for the draw of a co-main event, obviously Kayla, a lot of hardcores know her, but a lot of casuals don't. So when you have a story like Pena and then you have a champion like Raquel, it makes perfect for a better matchup at the time to highlight a co-main event. So that's why I think they chose Pena, and I honestly think Pena is her. I think she outlasts Raquel. As much as I want to give Raquel her flowers for doing what she's been doing for so long in the sport, that's hard to do. She's going to go out as a legend, kind of like a Cowboy Cerrone if you was to compare it to a male fighter. But at the end of the day, I think her time has passed, and I honestly think that Pena is going to her time is now, and I think she's going to come and she's going to look ruthless. It's going to be a scrap. It's probably going to go to decision. And I have Pena winning by decision.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, for Raquel Pennington, I mean, she's been like doing that amazing. I mean, this record is very impeccable. I mean, I think she has a lot of more skill, because I know that the clinch game were very effective. I mean, not even a newcomer could ever like it to become everything about it, because I hope this is gonna be like very likely. I mean, it's not gonna be like the worst thing, because that's gonna be because they got a lot of work to do because they're gonna take it down. Because if she's gonna be like really scared enough, I mean, there's nothing about for the issue. I mean, if they had to put on the belt, because I really think that's gonna be like a what it take against for Kyla. I mean, if it wasn't for Juliana Pena, I mean, if Kyla would have it this title shot, because I know it's gonna be like more interesting round because have a great strategy because they don't have to fight too much. I mean, they have to keep the health and wait until a good fighter has to go for like gets old. But I know it's gonna be like a finish like very close enough because I know it's gonna be more likely it's gonna be like unremarkable. But I know it's gonna be like a fight that was gonna be chosen like the opponents, and because the sympathy is not gonna be very important, but the concept at tens, but because absolutely like the number one contender.
Absolutely. Why don't we move on to the premier fight of the night? We have a young stud versus an old veteran, a ex-champion, a future Hall of Famer in Jose Aldo, and he's versus Moyo.
Oh yes.
What's your thoughts on this fight? Honestly, I respect the hell out of Jose. I think he is a legend. He's king of Brazil for a reason, but I just think Moyo is just much more younger. He's gonna push the pace, and he is actually gonna. I hate to say this, but he's going to take Jose's soul. I mean, like, I love Jose. He could easily come in. He just got to win out his last fight. He looked amazing, but there's a time in a place where age catches up to you, and you have a 38-year-old. You know, obviously, Moyo is 31, but he's entering his UFC prime, and Jose Aldo is exiting his UFC career. So for me, I'm just going with the younger fighter here in Moyo. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one.
I mean, let me tell you about something about for Jose Aldo. I mean, he's one of the greatest fighters we've been seeing in the featherweight division. And against for the wrestling prospect about for like Jonathan Martinez, because I still has plenty left at the 10 despite being 38 years old. Because I'm going to pick it up again, Jose Aldo. Because I know that Mario Bautista is a good prospect with the good technical law, the round skills. But I've been seeing like it so very far because he's like a very solid fighter with few weakness, but he doesn't excel one particular thing that makes stand up. I mean, he beats Ricky Simon, who looked very washed, and very beats Damon Blackshear. Jose Aldo may have not the speed that he has once with this prime there's in striking, but he's one of the best technicians out there with this combination of leg kicks, boxing. This is going to be like a close fight on the feet, but I think the striking is about this level that should get in like the victory. I mean, that's going to be really interesting. I mean, Jose Aldo, it became like some of the greatest ones on the featherweight division. And we just saw like losing against Conor McGregor, just like it back in 2015. But I know that Jose Aldo has very wounded. And it's going to be like very interesting to see how the rookie versus veteran coming out there, because I would love to see getting both like the cardio, the grappling, striking, and also the leg kicks and boxing. It's going to be like a close fight. But I really think that Jose Aldo got a lot to do before he's going to retire it.
Absolutely love it. We have Kevin Holland versus Roman. I honestly think Holland is one of the more exciting fighters in the middleweight division. He's always talking crap in the octagon. I think he has the advantage on the feet, but I just think that Roman is not going to look to strike with Holland. I think Roman's going to take him down, and I think once the fight gets to the ground, I think it's going to be a submission by Roman. As much as I love Holland, and as much as I want to see Holland knock a guy out, at the end of the day, I think Roman is game in this one, and this is a good matchup for him to take Kevin Holland down that has zero ground experience when it comes to high level. He has ground experience, obviously, but when it comes to high level ground experience, and I can see Roman getting a submission here. Obviously, it could go to the decision. I could be totally wrong, but what's your thoughts on Roman getting the decision here, and what's your thoughts on the fight in general?
Don't be expected it's gonna be like a very interesting fight. It's gonna be like a fight of the night, because at his best, I mean, Kevin Holland, I mean, is a very talented fighter. I mean, rarely here because it's very clear that the wine is not like primary motivation at this point of his career, but entertaining Coletas at anything possible. I mean, he was very good enough to beat MVP or GMD, which is he didn't even rely on more this grappling heads as wanted to showcase his flashy striking. If you follow like the fighter Keegan Ashura, Kevin Holland is basically like the Hatsumi Hara for the UFC. Because I know it's going to be highly talented fighter with a lot of potential. He's getting back at his like it's a attitude. No. But this side of the Roman too, he's a powerful grappler, excellent control, ground by pound. I mean, as disempowered the strengthening he has the notorious win by knockouts. I mean, Roman loads is kind of like very underrated. It gets like a bad rep from not being light. I mean, he's a fighter just below for the elites in his division. Losing to him, Mobile the Vittori, he's capable to beating like the fighters belong him, but I do think that Holland actually take his fight very seriously. She should want to do superior striking skills, but I think that Dawson is not that very kind of fighter that you can take lightly and beat. But Dawson is going to be like a underdog. It's being like a more damage to get more control time through the fight. So I'm going to pick Roman to lose as a knockout at the second round. I mean, there should be like a more control at a good time for the grappling and striking.
Absolutely, and we haven't really seen him. In my take, we haven't really seen Roman submit anybody since his early on in his like he was like 2-0, 3-0 in his MMA career. I just feel like Holland, just his length, right? We get to the ground, we get to ground and pounding, gives up his neck and locks in the submission. Who knows what could happen though? And then we got Kayla Harrison that is absolutely just gonna tear open this main card, absolutely demolish Catalan. Nothing against Catalan, I think she's game, but I think Kayla is just by 4 levels to this competition and one of the best bantamweights on the planet for female. That is, when it comes to judo, I mean, like she's up there at the likings of the best that ever did it in the female rankings. So that being said, I have Kayla coming in here and absolutely putting on a show, and at the end of it, calling out the winner, basically getting on the mic and saying, "Hey, Raquel, hey, Juliana, I'm next, and you guys can't run from me." And I think it's going to be either a first round or a second round of Kayla submission or Kayla knockout. It's going to be fast, and I'm putting everything on Kayla to win this one in easy fashion.
Yeah. I mean, when she comes with like the judo, I mean, he has a lot of expectations. I mean, because she lived up to the hype of the debut. I mean, he's just making like many thought the victory could earn a title shot, but they has opted to bring like more slowly, which is clear. It's like a more entertainment, like a title eliminator, because it feels like they've been waiting for Vieira title run for some time. I mean, the Brazilian is clearly like better for the most bantamweight pack, but she's come like very short in half of the competitive and important fights, because at the same time turning away for Harrison will be like very huge because she had won 3 of the last 4. And I know because doing for this time, I mean, it's going to be like really happen because Kayla Harrison is absolutely powerhouse. Her judo is the very definition of the world class, but she also deserves a lot of credit to the development of the rest of the game, because has to taught enough for the wrestling and striking fundamentals really makes it off in a like smart manner, but that physicality is always like at a huge edge, because I'm not very sure there's any reason why Harrison has to develop the usual strategy. Vieira has solid judo and strength herself, but obviously Harrison has art match in both regards. If Harrison wants to clinch takedown, they probably get it like an angle of 5 seconds. I mean, they control the clinch after all, because it's particularly mobile striker or huge hitter, because she has a very striking at all. I mean, that should be like really interesting. I mean, that should be really interesting at all. But it seems that it will be like a really champion as future. Has she gonna make it a bit gonna get in the title shot? I mean, it's gonna be like really interesting to see how they're gonna dominate at the very last. Because I know it's gonna be a real contender. Because the kid's bouncing the very rocket effective, but she does have a lot of plans and experience, and her game plan is gonna be like more complex about the usual approach.
You're absolutely right. I'm just gonna run over this this preliminary and this early prelims real fast, and then I'm gonna turn back the mic over to Raphael, and he's gonna run over some WWE that's gonna take place this weekend. We have Stephen Thompson versus Buckley. I know I've been mentioning Buckley's name at the start of it when I was talking about Rountree. I meant Rountree. I don't know why I was mentioning Buckley's name. That being said, I mean, like, Buckley is probably gonna win this fight. I just think Stephen Thompson and his age is just too old for the sport right now. I mean, like, he's still looking good. He never really got hit. He still has the opportunity to get a win over Buckley, but I just think Buckley in his prime is probably gonna put a stop to Stephen Thompson, and not in the way of knockout, but just in the way of a victory. I can see Buckley winning unanimous decision. I have Isman over Marina. I just think that Marina is not a high-level competition in the strawweight division when it comes to female. I think Asman is entering her prime and is probably obviously still young. I wouldn't say prime like her best of the best, but she is still 22, and I think she's gonna have a good night on Saturday. We have Austin Hubbard versus Alexander. Now, Alexander is someone that his prime is totally over. He is someone that we all thought was going to be this high-level prospect that it really never, the cards never really played out for him that way. And he's going against Austin Hubbard that is going to fight him aggressively, that is going to push the pace, and it is going to look to take his brain off. And obviously, I do believe that Austin Hubbard probably does have a little bit more hurt, obviously, in his young MMA career to go out there. I know they're both 32, but at the end of the day, I think Alex been fighting longer. We go to Caesar versus Igor. Igor is going to be has a way better ground. I think Caesar can land a punch to knock Igor out, but I'm just going to take Igor. And then there's a lot of early other prelims, but obviously Ryan Spann or OSP. We got Corla. We got Trisha, Penitent's wife, on the court too. But I'm looking at Tim Means and Court McGee, Raphael. Like, what are these guys still doing fighting? And my Court McGee was on the Ultimate Fighter season 11, and I believe Tim and Court McGee made his debut in 2007, bro. And Tim Means is 40. Both these guys are 40 still fighting. So that's going to just be a fast rundown on the undercard. Feel free to give your picks on the undercard if you want, Raphael. But I'm going to turn the mic over to you to ride us this out with the WWE. And I need to go call someone back. But I'm going to be here.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to talk about for the WWE Bad Blood, which is the 2004, which is, it became there's so many years to count it out. Because I know the Combat Club is very especially on mixed martial arts, wrestling, and boxing. But between for the WWE Bad Blood 2024, it has so many storylines that we'd love to see about it. So right now it seems that it's going to be a plenty of the great fights between CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre in Hell in a Cell, which is very intense storyline. They have put a story of rivalry. They have a loving-hand relationship, but I get it right now. But there's something something interesting that no one see that. This between for Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. Expected because there's a lot of solutions. There's gonna be a lot of spoiler alert if The Rock or maybe Paul Heyman or anything bigger that it comes out to the cost of the match right now. But it seems that the first one, because they have it of Hell in a Cell match back in 1997, because that was the feature as the main event, because it's gonna be in a new era because they using the hated rivalries, and it's gonna be the first blood match. But I give it the Liv Rhea Ripley. I think it's gonna be really instead, but it's gonna be a very low chance to be really happen about this one. But it should be so much interesting about for bringing back the pay-per-view. It is something really interesting. But it seems who even thought about it, because remember with Triple H they're bringing up the best year, and they all being dislike the idea. But I think it's gonna be a really tough part, because if they had to more include, they had to very motivated. It's gonna watch now. It seems that they have to give it a bigger show. I know it's gonna be the found out. It's gonna be on the boat, but it seems that between for Damien Priest versus Finn Balor, also there's CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. The New Judgment Day are really struggling, but I lead them more seriously. But I know for the important thing between for Punk and Drew, because a lot of people say that Drew was gonna pull it off of the beast. No way heck it could happen. CM Punk will be in the main event. That's the only reason he's probably going out for the World Heavyweight Championship, but it's going to be a straight off to the game. It seems that it's going to be really start, because how they going to advertise the special time, because I know that the Saturday, which is a special time between 6 p.m., which is the Bad Blood of WWE, and the 10 p.m., which is the UFC fight night between Alex Pereira versus Khalil Rountree Jr. So now it's going to be the very moves, because it seems that this had a very great plan to see how we're going to expect it. How they're going to respect it, because I know this fight is gonna be very predictive at all, because I don't think it's gonna be like a steel cage or it's gonna be like a steel matches right now, but probably it's gonna be like really retained at all, because now they have to see how the storylines became so much perfect. But I'm very glad that it bring like the classic. But back in the day, which is Hell in the Cell, it's like welcome surprise that would either they had to make the field more interesting or serve it like at the field finale, which had a much of a sample. For like, if those guys would remember about for like the 2003 between Kevin Nash and Triple H, really in 2003, for example, it was very brutal, very bloody. But right now, I have to come with to see like in the match, exactly the rest of the roster. But I think that it's gonna be like at the beginning, passing off to the fans, naming especially matches, because I know they're very useful like for the main with it, because they're probably some classic pay-per-views that no one see that coming, because it's just like very in event quality, because they have some names and naming of the bench of the must, like not very stupid, but have a little bit very determined. It's gonna be the come out to the very announced, because it's bet the unexpected.
Well said. Hell yeah. I just want to thank you for working out the schedule and stuff like that. I know I haven't been on the show for a while, guys. So thank you, Raphael, for holding it down. Thank you guys, obviously, in the chat for holding it down. We really respect that. And honestly, we are going to be active more on a weekly basis. Thank you to the Big Blue Crew Sports Network as well. I know we got this video up on there as well. Thank you guys all for watching it. If you guys even watching it after the fact, if you guys can hit a like, hit a share button. If you guys like what you see, share it out with your friends, your family, and turn the notification bell on for all channels so you guys never miss an update from the Combat Club. Thank you, man, again for today, man. Today was awesome. Any last words before we get out of here?
Yeah, we got anything last words. So thank you for joining us at this Combat Club. And right now, this weekend is gonna be fully loaded for the Big Blue Crew Sports Network. Not only we just gotta brought it in with college football, but also we get wrestling, boxing, mixed martial arts with Letter to the Face, along with my brothers Lou and Wells. And of course, for this Sunday, is gonna be very interesting about for like full package of football nights, which is gonna be very important. Yes, salute to Leaf Diggy is in the building right now. So I was wanting to tell you, thank you guys for joining us for this special episode. This is the episode number 23, which is gave like the preview of the UFC 307 in Salt Lake City and Utah between Alex Pereira, the Poitin, versus Khalil Rountree Jr. Yep, it is going to be very interesting. So I just wanted to tell you, thank you guys. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to Capitán Rafucho and Science Zenith on YouTube. So don't be a ninja. It costs you free. It didn't cost you $1, because right now it is the Big Blue Crew Sports Network right here on every social media on YouTube, which you can have the best of content creators providing the best in college football, everything about for the sport. So,
and I'm going to say too, sorry to interrupt your last speech, my bad on that. I'm going to say too, keep it locked into the network as well, because I will be releasing my week 5 NFL picks either tomorrow night, Friday night, or late Saturday night after the fight. So keep that in mind. That is coming as well. Thank you guys so much for watching today. And my bad, Raphael, you can end it how you wanted to end it before I abruptly interrupted.
Yes, thank you very much. And of course, have a great night. Have a great weekend. And of course, we're out of here. So thank you very much. So this is the Combat Club episode number 23. Let's get it, ladies and gentlemen.